same
Did
law.
we change the plan?
No.
No.
So
I think
150 is your total limit.
Yeah, and nothing's changed since the first submittal.
Thank you. All right, gentlemen in the top.
Yeah, you mentioned you may move the access off Johnson Ferry Road with the
Not,
south.
not the parking lot, not the access. I mean, we can't access it any other way. But the parking lot will be moved from the front.
Okay, gentlemen over here.
Hi, my name's Cliff Price and we live on Knoll Haven, Knolls of Knoll Haven. Our house is the last house backing up to the creek itself. And when we have flooding, it comes up 8 foot on our property. What's the effect of the flood thing to do on the parking and the soccer fields?
I can answer you in one way, and that it sort of follows up with what you were asking too. Anytime you do something on this kind of property, at the end of it, the engineer has to provide what's called a no-rise certificate, which means that regardless of what is done to the property in terms of moving the earth around, he has to certify that there has been no change in terms of the impact on the stream. So although I can't tell you what we're doing from an engineering standpoint yet, I can tell you that at the end of that, it is required, and it is required not just by the county, but by federal law, and I believe by the terms of the state's NPDES permit, if I'm not mistaken. So there's 3 regulatory layers there that have to be satisfied.
And Ms. Eckert, when you come back again next cycle, will you be able to bring the study, the
Yes.
engineering study?
Yes, absolutely.
Because I think this is something really important that everyone's
Absolutely.
But we did that study. And on our property, FEMA told us that on a 100-year floodplain, the water would come up about 3 foot. And then the last one was 8 foot. So,
As a sidebar, I'm an appraiser doing a flood case right now for court, and I'd love to get your address.
I've actually got a picture of the
too.
flood water.
Huh?
I've got a picture of the flood
That's all of our yards.
Okay. What subdivision is that?
Fielding Park Court.
Actually, I've seen Fielding Park, St. James, and then also
Yeah.
Nancy Creek completely underwater.
That's good.
Yeah.
So your house is
Yep.
and that was still on occurrence. And the county hasn't done anything to.
Over here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Jack O'Connor, and I represent the Woodchase community, which is to the west of the property. And we're concerned about 2 other factors, and that is the light pollution and the sound pollution. We're a quiet bedroom community, and we're really concerned about the noise and the light that would be going on virtually 7 days a week, and it would really change dramatically the ambiance of the community, and we're very much opposed to it.
Okay.
Why would, Diane Chair, Fielding Park Court, why do you need such a large clubhouse?
It's mostly for storage of equipment. If you think about the fences, the nets, the fertilizer, the equipment used to treat the field, that takes some space. But as I said, we're looking to see if we don't.
Okay, I mean, I can understand bathrooms in a small storage facility such as the one off Windsor Parkway, but 4,000 square feet is.
What's the one off Windsor Parkway?
Northside Bar.
Oh, where Peachtree Dunwoody and yeah. And there's a small facility there. We'll go look at it. We'll go look at it. We might be able to. That's what I'm saying.
Is it going to be lighted and all utilities to build it?
Yeah.
Is that your?
Yeah. We do want restrooms.
How are you planning to water the fields?
Larry,
Just flood them.
We use the county water.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. And as far as fertilizer, you're right near a gas line. How is that safe for all of us?
We're already in contact with Plantation Pipeline and Colonial Pipeline to make sure we're following all their very, very stringent rules and regulations.
And how does the fertilizer impact the fish in the creek? And why are you, what kind of fence are you looking for?
a security fence predominantly.
Right, along the property line,
Nothing
not
on the
along the
fence.
creek, but along the other thing, and it's
Just on Johnson Ferry?
no, along the property line with all the adjacent property.
Are you aware that there's a lot of wildlife out there?
Yes.
Yep.
Kathy, can you address,
The coyotes?
No, no,
Here's our lot.
yeah, fertilizer and
Yeah.
desiccation from the creek. Yes, sir.
Well, not very, very short. I'm just a resident in Westcott Cove. My property backs up to what would be the soccer fields, John Tower, and neighbors, same situation. Your point about the light and noise pollution, we haven't said the obvious, but your property values and the resaleability goes. I mean, it's gonna drop. Certainly the number of people that would be interested would decrease from the number of people that would have been interested. And that's a lot of what this is about. Now multiply that times here, and I hope this gentleman who's got the video going can make it available, because there's probably 120 people in here, and I would say rather than have to assemble the same 100, by the way, one who's here, there's 4 that can't be.
Yeah.
That at least it be, so we don't have to reconvene again. These same opinions are.
Wait, you're assuming that all of us here are against it?
Well,
Is that your assumption?
let
That's a
me.
pretty bold assumption.
Okay, all in favor, raise your hand.
What was the question?
All in favor of putting the soccer fields in, raise your hand.
And who live in District 1, in the area. And now you have to own a home.
Own a home. Who's against it?
All right, everybody against, raise your hand.
Oh,
How many
gee.
of you
That wasn't all of them.
Majority.
Give me somebody who wants it.
Okay, back.
All right,
Back up.
let's be a little calm, guys.
Okay, go ahead.
I would just like to add, in addition to all the other concerns, Jason Yost with St. James Crossing, HOA. In addition to the other concerns, I just want to make sure that the Mill Creek Evergreen is also looked at in the traffic study, because we have concerns that that's a major cut through. Yeah, and Evergreen from Peachtree Dunwoody.
It's a cut through.
It's the same road.
And we have concerns, everybody coming and cutting through to get there from Buckhead and Roswell area.
They use it every day. It's a public road, unfortunately.
Yeah, I just said I wanted to be included in the traffic study.
It should be, because then it's easier than
I don't mind answering your questions, but
I know, but we don't have all night.
But please come to our meeting if you want to have one of your own. If you want to set up a smaller group that I could kind of communicate with so that I can pass information along easier, I'm happy to do that. I'm not trying to duck out of answering questions here.
Well, no,
this
but I mean,
evening.
you need to work with them and
I
answer
know.
their questions. That wasn't our question.
Let me knock 2 people out, because they've been raising their hand. They've been very patient. Young lady in the front in the blue striped shirt. And then the whole
Behind you,
Oh, thank
this
you.
is somebody behind you has had his hand up right from the beginning.
Oh.
Nobody's looking.
Then 3.
Kimberly Forster, Mill Creek Manor. I just wanted to know, why weren't you more proactive in letting any of the neighborhoods know that this was happening? There was one blurb in a local neighborhood newspaper in the Crier, and it was a very pro article, and it was very flimsy in letting us know what the location was.
Of this?
And there was no letters that went out to the community. We had to take care of it ourselves, and we had to beg for information in order to let our neighbors know.
There's certain state laws that govern the kind of notice that's supposed to be given for hearings, and whether rightly or wrongly.
Well, you're trying to be good neighbors, so I mean, that would be a
I
good way to
agree
start.
with you, which is one of the reasons we're asking for a deferral, because we haven't gotten out into the community like we should have.
So you're planning on sending a notice to every single homeowner?
No, I'm not. I'm planning on sending notices to you
I
all.
mean,
I'm
but
planning
I'd
on.
like to let these 2 people. have
I'm
those.
planning on putting something in the crier that will let people know. And anyone who wants to come is more than welcome. And if, as this gentleman says, there's 4 for every one of you here, tell the 4, they're welcome. I mean, no, I'm not going to send a letter to every resident in this general area.
To letting them know that their property value will then be
Well, we have a
decreased
disagreement
tremendously.
about that, but the answer to your question is no, I'm not going to send that kind of letter.
Okay. We're going to do this. We're going to listen to 2 more comments. We are going to take a vote. And if you folks would like to meet with Ms. Ziegler after, that's not going to happen? Okay. 2 more comments. Yes, sir.
I'm Mike Mabry. We live on Curry Drive, and we share the back 1,000-foot border with the proposed property. We were not notified. We had no idea. Fortunately, somebody notified us, so we wouldn't be here. I don't want to talk about the big flood of 2009. I would like to mention all the other floods that we see back there all the time. I submitted photos of floods that are not part of the 2009 flood. It's gotten worse. My wife has lived in this house since 1969, so she's probably got a better perspective than anyone else on this exact property. And the floods have gotten worse and worse and worse year after year after year, going back years and years. Also, I submitted a photo from a game camera from pictures taken on this property. One picture has 5 coyotes. We hear coyotes howl all the time. If this is developed, the coyotes are going to go to these neighborhoods. And I don't believe DeKalb County Animal Control will address coyotes.
They're already running the creek, they're not going anywhere.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. My name's Tom Wiley, and well, tonight I'm representing Dominic Forrest. You mentioned that you were hoping that this project would wind up like Marist. Am I correct? That's the only time we use the word.
I said it would be deferred like Marist. It's not Marist, it's not the same project.
Well, considering, in my opinion, that this is the same wetlands, just an extension of it south, the same creek, and also the same attorney, should that be a source of concern for all of us?
I run with the creek. Some people, covenants run with the land, I go with the creek. You know, Tom, you didn't like what we did at Marist, and I'm sorry.
Marist is dead in the water as far as I know.
Excuse me?
Marist is dead in the water as far as I know.
Well, then, you know, ultimately you prevailed. What can I say? We have a different approach to this.
I don't think everybody in here knows about
All right,
Keep
we're gonna put it to a vote.
That's a good question.
Is
it dead in the water?
Can we, do I hear a motion?
Full circle,
And I
full
did-
cycle deferral.
Do I hear a second? All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Okay, we're asking for a full cycle deferral, which means she will come back here and she will go on to the both boards. She'll go to the Board of Commissioners and to the Planning Board. So you need to go on to those meetings, and hopefully she'll come back here in September.
August, you've got the 2 meetings to go through in July and then come back again to us in
I think it's August.
Do y'all have a larger place, like if y'all want to use Asher Park Elementary School, there's no parking now, every parking place is done.
Well, we didn't
You really
expect
need
this
a larger
early.
place.
We'll have to check with
Yeah,
Bob,
design.
but I think the problem is the schedule is published a year in advance, and it's published that this is where we meet.
I'm sure if you told everybody in this room what the next meeting was, they'd be there.
And your idea, when you go to the Board of Commissioners and the Planning Board, you do need to dress all in one color or carry signs, and they will let you stand up, but you do have a short, limited time. So you need to pick your speakers and get all your facts in order.
They'll cut you off. You
Okay.
gotta say your thing.
5 minutes,
Your control. If somebody you get up that you're not aware of, they tell you.
You control the floor.
Can I ask 2 procedural questions just quickly? Earlier, the date, July, I'd heard Saturday, July 17th. I just quickly looked at the 17th.
Sunday.
Sunday. It is
4
on
o'clock.
Sunday.
Yes, 4 o'clock, YMCA, Ashford Dunwoody Road.
The other thing I was going to ask is you made in your opening comments reference to a field where the fields were not really up to speed and there were no restroom facilities.
Yes.
And I was just wondering if an upgrade of that facility might be a better
They're
option
public
for
school
you.
sites, we can't do it. We can't do it. Yeah, actually, because then they have to maintain it.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you.